Right, so welcome back to another video on this YouTube channel, and today we're doing something quite interesting. I'm quite excited for this one, not gonna lie, because in today's video I am going to be essentially analysing Chelsea's potential team that we could go into the next Premier League campaign with, which will be the 2020-21 Premier League season. Now there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Chelsea fan like myself because of the transfers that we've already made and will continue to make throughout the transfer window. Of course, we've brought in Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner already, and that is why in today's video I'm going to be essentially just trying to pick out what Chelsea's most likely lineup will be next season under Frank Lampard. Now before I get into this video, bear in mind this is all hypothetical. I mean, the players that I have in this team don't actually play for Chelsea yet, of course. I mean, some of them do, but some of them are just hypothetical and are purely based on the rumours that are going around on Twitter and social media right now. Now this is the team that I think we will go into next season with. Not that I want, I think that we will start next season with under Frank Lampard. So yeah, let's just get straight into this video now. Now in terms of the formation and the system that I think Frank Lampard will want to use next season with the players he has at his disposal. And there's a lot of different formations and systems that Frank Lampard can potentially utilise next season, but I think the main one he will use is a 4-3-3 with a DM and two attacking midfielders in front of that DM. So yeah, essentially I can see him trying to emulate the system that Pep Guardiola has utilised at Manchester City, where he has Rodri in the DM position and Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva just in front of him. And in goal, of course, I have Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now there has been a lot of scrutiny and criticism attached to Kepa's name throughout this season because, let's be honest, he hasn't had a great season whatsoever. However, I've decided to stick with him in this potential 2021 campaign team because I think Kepa last season showed that he is a quality goalkeeper. There is a good goalkeeper in there somewhere, but personally I would give him next season as, you know, on sort of a last chance basis because, you know, he has improved since he's dropped out of the team. Remember in February, Willy Caballero came in to replace him because Kepa had probably the worst save percentage ratio in the league at the time, and in the time that he's come back into the team, I think it was Liverpool in the FA Cup he came back in, since that game he has doubled his save percentage rate from when he was in with the team beforehand and got dropped, so that's a very, very promising sign. But yeah, I've chosen ultimately to stick Kepa in this team. There has been links with Andre Onana and you know, Dean Henderson and those kind of goalkeepers, but I do think that Lampard will use those funds in other areas and stick with Kepa in goal next season. In the right back position, it's pretty much a shoo-in for Reece James to be a right back, let's be honest. He's been brilliant this season, arguably one of our players of the season when he's been fit. And the thing about right backs in the modern day football climate is that they're normally great going forward but not necessarily more defensively, and I think Reece James has the perfect balance between going forward and defensively. He has one hell of a whip on him with his right foot in terms of crosses, and not only that, he's very physical. He's a very big guy, which means that he's well able to defend as well. So yeah, I think he will be Chelsea's starting right back for years to come. Now the first centre back I've gone with is the first new signing that I've gone with in this team, and that is West Ham's very own Declan Rice. I think Chelsea will end up paying about 45-50 million pounds for Declan Rice this summer. There has been plenty of links that Frank Lampard wants to buy Declan Rice, not as a holding midfielder but as a centre back, because of course he's mainly played as a holding midfielder, but there's rumours that Frank Lampard sees him as the next John Terry, which is a big statement, and I think Declan Rice will be signed by Chelsea to play alongside the other centre back that we have. Now of course Declan Rice isn't necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing centre back there is on the market at the moment. However, I think he is very, very underrated because not only is he a natural born leader and will add leadership and arrangement to that back four, but also he's a top quality defender, brilliant on the ball, and yeah, I think he'll suit well into Frank Lampard's plans for next season and beyond. And the centre back I have pairing with Declan Rice in this team is Andreas Christensen, who's proved this season, like, he's probably been our most improved player this season. He's proved that he's well able to be up to the task, and Kurt Zouma of course will compete for him with this place, and maybe even Rudiger or Tomori, but I think Christensen is the best of the lot that we have in the centre back positions at the moment. He's a very good reader of the game, he's decent on the ball, and yeah, I just think he'll partner Declan Rice next season in Chelsea's defence. Obviously there is still question marks over his physical ability and his aerial ability, but I think that Andreas Christensen will only get better. He's still young, he's come out of the academy as well, so yeah, I think him and Rice will form a good solid centre back partnership going forward. And in left back we've got the second summer signing I'm going for, not necessarily one I agree with or many Chelsea fans who feel the same way as me on this one, but Ben Chilwell I think will be Chelsea's left back next season and going forward. Now you're probably thinking about 50 to 60 million pounds if you're lucky for Ben Chilwell, because that's the rumoured price that Leicester are willing to sell Ben Chilwell for, and personally I would much rather have someone like Nicolas Tagliafico, who would be half the price, even Alex Telles. We have been linked with David Alaba, who would be my ideal option, but I just can't see Chelsea signing him. But yeah, I do think Frank Lampard will want to splash the cash on Ben Chilwell as our left back for next season and going forward. And I know he's not the best left back, he has proved this season that he's not the best option we have out there, but I am confident that Frank Lampard can develop Ben Chilwell because he's only like, what, 21, 22, so he's still very, very young and is only going to improve hopefully. But yeah, I think Ben Chilwell will be the left back that we go for in replacement replacement of one of the left backs we have, and I think he will be Chelsea's left back next season and going forward. Now moving on to the midfield, as you can see on your screen, we have a DM position to cover up, and I think that will be N'Golo Kante, who has played in that holding midfield position for Chelsea since the restart and has done so very, very well. Now over the last year or so, N'Golo Kante has kind of developed a bit of an injury prone trait, which means that he probably won't be fit for the whole season, but you do have the likes of Declan Rice even to step into DM with another centre back replacing him. Also have the likes of potentially Billy Gilmore, Jorginho if he doesn't leave, or even Ethan Ampadu if he comes back from loan and slots into that position. But I think N'Golo Kante will definitely be the first choice for Frank Lampard in that DM role next season, and that's pretty much what Frank Lampard looks to be going with, judged on what the last few games have been. And the first attacking midfielder I've got in this system is Mason Mount, who I've said is one of our most important players, and fans are now starting to wake up to the fact that Mason Mount is one brilliant footballer. Not only is he unbelievable at breaking the lines in his pressing ability, but also he's a very creative midfielder who has a goal threat and assist threat, and all around just very, very creative and very essential to Lampard's system. And yet another player who's very, very young and is only going to improve as time goes on, and he's proved this season that he's ready to play in the attacking midfield role for Chelsea under Frank Lampard next season. And now the third summer signing we are including in this video next to Mason Mount, it is of course Kai Havertz, potentially our record transfer signing should we pull this off. Bayer Leverkusen are rumoured to be selling him for around £90 million. It's rumoured that he wants to leave and play Champions League football, so it remains to be seen whether this deal will actually happen, but for some reason I have this tingling feeling inside of me that just feels like this deal will go ahead, and if it does, that is our midfield sorted for the next 5 years minimum, because Kai Havertz is a generational talent, and if we can pull this off, because I assume Frank Lampard will kind of want to use Kai Havertz in the Kevin De Bruyne role in Pep Guardiola's system, where he's the creative midfielder, the creative spark in midfield, and also will be used as a bit of a pressing midfielder alongside Mount, so I think that that duo going forward could be very effective in the Chelsea system. And yeah, if we pull off this Kai Havertz signing, I will never shut up about it, because he is one hell of a player, and if we pull this off, Roman is back. Sorry if you can hear that, there's just some chap drilling outside my house and won't shut up. And now moving on to the front three in Chelsea's system next season. At right wing, of course, it is Hakim Ziyech, our first signing in the summer. We signed him in February. What a deal that looks to be, £37 million. What an absolute steal that is from Ajax. I mean, we've seen from Ziyech so far this season, his goals and assist stats are absolutely incredible. I know it's not in the most competitive league in the world, but he has proven himself on the European stage and the Champions League as well, and he has shown that he's very much capable of playing at top side. I think he will be a very, very good player for us next season, because not only will he get bags of goals and bags of assists in the Premier League, I think he will be the key player in breaking down teams like Newcastle and Burnley and those kind of teams who play a very, very low line. Because Ziyech has shown time and time again at his time at Ajax that he is capable of pinging that pass from 40 yards and picking out one of our strikers when their defence are playing a low line, or even scoring a screamer from 30 yards when we need it. And yeah, on the opposite side of the wing from Hakim Ziyech, we've gone with, of course, Captain America, Christian Pulisic, who has been one of our most crucial players since the restart and is one of our best players when he's fit. And of course, I don't need to praise Christian Pulisic for that long, because we all know how good he is, and that is why, exactly why, he was slot straight into Chelsea's team with Hakim Ziyech on the opposite side of the wing next season, because only going to get better next season, of course, when he's fully fit. Hopefully he stays injury free, and I think you have a perfect balance on the wing with Ziyech, who's just a naturally unbelievably gifted, skillful player in terms of passing and shooting, and then you have Christian Pulisic on the other side, who's just a natural dribbler, a speedster and a great finisher. So yeah, I think that Chelsea are looking very, very stacked on the wings. And of course, up front is the main man, Timo Werner, our second summer signing so far. He is confirmed to be joining Chelsea at Stamford Bridge next season, and yeah, I think he's going to be one hell of a signing, because he is a striker that will get you 15-20 goals minimum, and he will be a very, very important player for when we're playing against the bigger teams, especially when they have space to counter in behind, and he will utilise his pace. But yeah, that front three of Ziyech, Werner and Pulisic, combined with Havertz and Mount in behind them, we have one dangerous looking attack going forward should we pull off the signing of Havertz. Sorry if the lighting's changed there, guys, I had to turn off my lamp because my camera was overheating. But yeah, that team now that you see on screen, I think is very, very capable of challenging for the title next season. Maybe not winning it, but I think they definitely will have a say in who wins that, and I definitely think they will give Manchester City and Liverpool a great run for their money next season. And now moving on to some players that aren't necessarily in this starting 11, but will play key roles in Chelsea's success next season and going forward as well. So here on screen, as you can see, are some of the players that we will also potentially have in this squad next season. So you have Willy Caballero, Cesar Azpilicueta, Antonio Rudiger, Kurt Zouma, Marcus Alonso, Billy Gilmore, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Willian, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham and Olivier Giroud. And they are the players that I think we will have in and around the squad, as well as the players we have in that starting 11 that I showed you. And yeah, if this is our squad going forward for next season, season. I think we have a very, very good squad and very good depth for next season. And to finally conclude this video, where I think this team will potentially finish next season being realistic, I think realistically we're looking at finishing in third, because I don't think we'll have just enough quality in terms of the defence to pit Manchester City and Liverpool to the Premier League title next season, but I do think that we will have the best squad out of the rest of the teams besides Manchester City and Liverpool. And yeah, that will bring us to the end of this video, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like down below. That would be very much appreciated. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel because we're so close to 100 subscribers. At the time of this recording we are 18 off. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.